You are listening to Lost Transmissions on WUSB Stony Brook.
Hello. Welcome to Lost Transmissions. I'm your host, Neon Edge, and I'm here today with
Erin McCartney, also known as Rowan-P.
Today, we're going to be featuring some of her vocaloid music. She uses vocaloids, which basically are computers talking to make some really interesting music. So, what is a vocaloid?
Vocal synthesis, or vocal synth is kind of the general term. The voice banks I used in these two songs are technically synthesizer V, but there's also Utau. Those are the main three. It was originally concatenative synthesis, I think, just having a real person record all the different sounds for the voice bank in a certain language and then just puts them together. That's generally how it works. They've gotten upgrades over the years. The most recent one uses AI, just neural networks for making it more accurate. Not like the generative AI that everyone hates, I swear. But yeah, this voice bank is called Eleanor Forte Lite, so it's not AI actually.
Yeah, and she did computational linguistics. So
yeah.
It'll be interesting to talk about that throughout the show. I'm Neon Edge. I like to feature electronic music, so this is right up the alley for the show.
It's extra electronic.
Yes. So this first song is called Are You in Love With Me Yet?
Oh, we are doing that first? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, start them off easy, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Before
exactly.
we get angsty.
All right.
Your heart better be fluttering, at least half as fast as mine is. Then it'd be worthless stuttering and sudden silent shyness. Have I made enough excuses to hang around you? Do you notice my reaction to the sound of you? I keep thinking I have power, but I don't. I keep thinking I'll be brave and then I won't. It's an unanswered question holding me back before I can make my attack. Are you in love with me yet? How much sweeter do I have to get? I'm falling for you with no safety net, no poker face when I might lose this bet. So tell me please, are you in love with me yet? I showed up in my best dress. We had a heart-to-heart outside the bar. You took away my stress, and in doing so gave me more. But surely now you feel that fire when you look at me. You won't forget to treat me like a luxury. Are you in love with me yet? How much prettier do I have to get? I'm falling for you with no safety net, no poker face when I might lose this bet. So tell me please, are you in love with me yet? I just don't know how much it takes to break through. Don't know the rules to your game, but I've been told that I'm confusing, so maybe you feel that way too. I heard a rumor that your heart is kinda cold, but I hope I shouldn't believe everything I'm told. Are you in love with me yet? How much more accomplished do I have to get? I'm falling for you with no safety net, no poker face when I might lose this bet. So tell me please, are you in love with me yet? Are you in love with me? Are you in love with me yet? Are you in love with me? Are you in love with me yet?
All right, that was Are You in Love With Me Yet by Erin.
Yeah, oh, I was having fun listening to that, honestly. I was like singing along and bopping. I really have to shout out the mixing done by Neon, because I feel like that like really brought out and made it like danceable and just like full of positive energy. The bouncy mallets in the background and the like the I don't know. Like obviously I put those instruments in there, but the mix really brought it out the right way. So I'm very grateful for that. Now I'm like, oh, I want there to be choreography for this. I want to make a music video. I don't know.
A Vocaloid chorus would be so cool.
Yeah, there are definitely Vocaloid songs with choreography. People use like 3D models. One of my friends actually did that. Someone I met through the Vocaloid channel. Yeah, so I could talk a bit about this song, how I like came up with it and stuff. I guess it is a little weird playing it first instead of playing the angsty one first, because you kind of the origin is very much in context of my angstier songs. Because basically, like,
Hey, we're going backwards.
Yeah, but it does also make sense to start off with a more lighthearted song.
Yeah.
So, like, I started my Vocaloid channel mostly because, I don't know, I, like, read an article about Pink Pantheress's rise to fame, actually, and how she started out posting music anonymously on the internet. I was like, dang, I should have done that, because I'd already, like, released some music under my real name and performed it live, but which meant that most of the people listening to my music were, like, my friends and my family, who might not necessarily have the same music taste as what I make, understandably. So I was kind of like, I kind of wish I could start over and just, like, not tell anyone in my real life about it, and find fans, like actual fans, which I have, which makes me so happy. But yeah, so I started out making a few really angsty songs, like just to vent some stress I was feeling at the time. And people really, really resonated with that. Even one that I thought was like kind of too hyper specific, people were still being like, oh, this is so relatable, it's painful, which is like my favorite thing to hear about things that I create. But then I was like, as I was getting more confident with production, which was something I didn't think I'd be able to do, like I actually tried to find a producer to work with through this club, and I'm glad that I was unable to, because I was forced to learn how to produce my own music, which I love so much.
Which club?
Yeah, SBU Music Makers.
Yeah,
Yeah.
SBU. If you're on campus, check them out. I give talks about production and sound design and stuff, and I also have a network of producers that can help you turn your thing into a finished track.
Yeah, including me now. Oh yeah, because the origin story of how we even decided to use my Vocaloid songs was that, like, originally I sent my, like, actual songs, but then when we started talking about the producer network thing, I also sent my Vocaloid channel as an example of, like, more examples of the style that I like to work in, and he checked it out. It's like, actually, I really love these two, let's use these two. So that was fun.
So it's interesting because the way that we approach marketing for our music is very different. You're trying to start broad and online, and I've found what's been working for me is starting, friends and family is like the best way to start, because that's local, and then over time your I guess sphere of influence grows.
Yeah. No, that also has very much been true for me. Like getting to open for a friend's show, that was really cool. That wouldn't have happened without real life connections. And like just going to open mics and meeting people and being in showcases and stuff. That is very much also true. So I kind of have these two different worlds that are both really good.
Yeah.
That's why, like, at first I was like, oh, I should have done that instead, but then I realized I can just do that in addition. I can have both. That was great.
So
I can talk more about the origin of the song, unless you have something else to say.
well, I think it's time to show the other one.
Okay. No, let me just briefly, I know we don't want to run out of time, but like, so I was making those NC songs, I was getting better with production, I was like, if I could be a music producer, what kind of music would I like to make? I really like K-pop, especially cute concept songs like Early Twice, so when we play other music later, I'll probably play some of those. And so I was like, I want to prove that I am not just good at making angsty songs, I could make a song that's just like a cute little happy song about a crush, and like, wanting them to like you back and be like, ooh, has it like, you know? And I am really proud of what I made. So, yeah, I like to think I succeeded in that. Yeah, that's all I wanted to say.
And that's great, because on that note, we're playing your next song, Hypervigilance.
Angsty time.
And I hope all the listeners out there, you enjoy it.
Yes.
The world isn't safe, and I don't know the rules of the game that everyone plays. So I watch my step and count my days. I make myself sick with concern, but the hard way is the only way I learn. There's so much I don't notice. I know only hypervigilance can save me. I'm alone, and all I know is there's just nothing that I'm able to do bravely. When flight is not an option and the fight would be obnoxious, I'm forced to proceed with caution. Stars will never grant my wish to feel at ease and protected, so I wield my only weapon. It's all I've ever known since hypervigilance. I've never found my place. Always a wannabe in any seat. I keep my eyes on the escape. Always have a plan B just in case. I break myself to carry the burden of being the one to get the last word in. There's so much I don't notice. I know only hypervigilance can save me. I'm alone, and all I know is there's just nothing that I'm able to do bravely. When flight is not an option and the fight would be obnoxious, I'm forced to proceed with caution. Stars will never grant my wish to feel at ease and protected, so I wield my only weapon. It's all I've ever known since hypervigilance. But at a certain point I have to tell myself, relax, you'll miss out if all you ever do is watch your own back. What exactly does people thinking mean? Thoughts that you do. If you assume the worst, do you get a medal if it's true? But there's so much I don't notice. I know only hypervigilance can save me. I'm alone, and all I know is there's just nothing that I'm able to do bravely. Flight is not an option, and the fight would be obnoxious. I'm forced to proceed with caution. Stars will never grant my wish to feel at ease and protected, so I wield my only weapon. It's all I've ever known since hypervigilance. Hypervigilance. Although I can't do it bravely, hypervigilance can save me.
That was Hypervigilance by Erin.
Yeah, so I guess that's more representative of the music I usually make, whereas Are You in Love With Me Yet was a little bit of a palate cleanser. But yeah, I'm proud of this one. It's the favorite song of at least one person I know of my Vocaloid songs. I'm like looking at the lyrics to think what it to talk about.
So, in terms of the lyrics, what were those inspired by? What are you trying to say with it?
Yeah. So it's actually kind of like the inverse of another song I have. Actually, the song we were gonna do before I sent you my Vocaloid music, Easier Daydreamed Than Done. Because, like, maladaptive daydreaming and hypervigilance are kind of opposites in the sense that the former one, you're not paying attention to the world at all. And the latter one, you're paying all the attention to the world. And I've personally kind of really developed a lot of, like, overcompensating kind of habits like that, especially after a certain accident that I had after not paying enough attention. I'm fine now.
What happened? If you don't mind talking about that.
Yeah. Most people who know me know about this, but I got hit by a car.
Oh, wow.
Last summer. Oh yeah, so that was after I posted this song. Maybe this was more so foreshadowing. I've definitely become a lot more like vigilant since then. But
I would imagine.
Yeah. So it wasn't all bad. I'm fine.
That's terrible though. I'm glad you recovered.
Yeah, no, I was basically fine. I mean, one of the benefits of having EDS is that I am just like kind of bouncy, and I don't break. I bounce. I might turn that into a song one day.
So I guess what I would say is how do you think that affected your music?
Yeah.
How do you think that shaped your creative direction?
I don't actually know if it did that much. It's actually, like, I think when we were talking to the guy who did it, my mom even joked, like, oh, she's gonna write a song about this now. But I didn't. But yeah, Hypervigilance. I think this really matches, like, the spooky season vibe, even though I posted it in spring. I actually wrote it in winter. I'm just reminded of how, like, when we were playing it, when you were driving me back to the train station, and it was nighttime, and we could see the almost full moon through the trees, and it was just like, yeah, this is it.
So I think it's really cool how lyrics can sort of shape the idea of the instrumentation.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, because I always write lyrics first, so I could definitely talk about that.
You are listening to Lost Transmissions on WUSB Stony Brook.
Okay, so previously before this, we played her song Hypervigilance, and I don't think we got a full picture of where the inspiration came from. So why don't you talk more about that?
Yeah, I remembered the exact situation in which I wrote Hypervigilance. Actually may have a bit more to do with the car thing than we thought, even though it happened before. Basically, there's a little park in my neighborhood, and I write songs there a lot, actually. Often on the swings. Like, I know not how to not fall off while typing on my phone. So this was one of those songs. And so I just remember, yeah, this is one of the songs where the origin, I'm pretty sure, is like, I think a phrase or say a phrase, and I realize after I say it that it sounds like it would be good in a song. Because I was trying to pay more attention to how lyrics sound instead of just writing my feelings or things I find interesting or whatever. Because, yeah, I directed a production of a musical I wrote, and seeing other people sing the songs I wrote made me realize how clunky some of the lyrics were, to be honest. Like, having to shove things in. So I'm like, I want to focus on getting better in that aspect. And so it was the line, there's so much I don't notice, I know only hypervigilance can save me. There's the, like, repetition of the no sound. Notice, no, only. And then I'm alone and all I know is there's just nothing that I'm able to do bravely. That just, like, scratched an itch in my mind when I was thinking about that. And I don't remember the exact trigger for what made me think that, but the fact that I had to, like, cross streets and watch for cars as I walked to the park probably had something to do with it.
And I've talked about this on the show before with other people. There seems to be this common theme, including with my stuff, where I find I write lyrics and I don't know what the inspiration was until after. and it's always like some sort of subconscious thing that goes on with that.
Yeah, there can be things where, like, I look back at lyrics and was not fully conscious of things. But I do often write lyrics as a way to vent my feelings and process my feelings and understand my feelings. Like, it's not always literal, the expression. Like, my songs are usually partially but not fully autobiographical. I think of them all as like short stories. And an author like is going to take a lot of inspiration from their own life. I mean, they don't have to, they could. It really depends on the story, just like songs. And I know that like if I relate to something, there's a greater chance that other people will relate to it. It's kind of a spin-off of like, I think the best advice about comedy that I've heard is that if you write something that makes you laugh, you know at least someone with your sense of humor will find it funny. Whereas if you write something and just hope to God that someone out there finds it funny, like you don't know for sure. Same can be said with any aspect of writing, I think.
Yeah.
Something making you sad or being like, oh, that's relatable. But yeah, I guess it makes sense that like if I'm using this as a way to even understand my own feelings through the lens of semi-fictional and, you know, with Vocaloid, these are characters. Eleanor is the one singing, not me.
So I have a burning question for you that I've been meaning to ask.
Oh.
How is writing for Vocaloids different than writing for vocals?
Yeah, I think it gives me a lot more creativity to double down. Because sometimes I just have so much to say, I want to use every possible syllable I can fit. With a poetic meter, like the da-da-da-da-da-da, every da-da-da-da-da. And things also like in specific characters, and also things that I wouldn't... Oh yeah, a big thing for me was that like, I have like 4 albums planned out. If I ever get my prayers and wishes answered and get a record deal that doesn't like completely like dungeon me and all those horror stories.
Never gonna happen.
Stop it.
You'll get record labels, but there's no such thing as a record label that is not predatory.
Yeah.
And that's my take. Companies are companies, and they want to make a profit.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that people who would help me with like marketing and distribution and stuff deserve some like financial compensation for their work. I do think you need a good lawyer to look over the contract and stuff.
I think what's interesting is we're actually seeing a sort of a democratization because of streaming. Surprisingly, for those who don't know, streaming has actually made things a lot worse for artists because...
Yeah, I think about that a lot. People don't want to buy music and... Taylor Swift and Maisie Peters and Marina and the Diamonds. I want to play some of them later if we have time.
And what about you?
You can find me as Erin McCartney on most platforms.
You are listening to Lost Transmission.